Hi guys, my name's Bill, and in this video I'm going to show you how to remove the door boot or bellow from your Frigidaire front load washer. Alright, let's start by unplugging the washer from the wall, and we're going to go ahead and take the screws out of the back so we can remove the top. Now I'm going to show you the long way on how to remove the door bellow from the washer here, because if you don't take the front panel off, it's going to be nearly impossible to do, especially if you don't have any experience. So behind the dispenser there's 3 screws, and on the top there's a couple screws on each side. We'll go ahead and take those out. And this is so we can remove the control panel and get that out of the way. And you just lift up on the top, unsnap it from the metal frame, and pull it away from the whole assembly there. And just unplug the wires from it, and we're going to pull those back through the frame here to get those out of the way. And at this point it's easier to tip the machine back against the wall so we can get to the screws underneath. And there's one of those on each side. And once you get those out, you'll be able to remove the lower panel here. Now here's where I did an unnecessary step. You don't really have to take the screws out of the door lock assembly, but I did anyway, and it was recorded, so I wasn't going back and changing it. Now for this step here, we're going to take the wire off of the outside of the door boot here, and carefully with a flathead screwdriver you just want to get underneath of it and then pull it away. And this here has a little hose. We're going to cut the zip tie off of it so we can disconnect that. Go ahead and just pull that out of the rubber boot there. And that's pretty much all that's holding the door boot to the front panel, so we're just going to go ahead and unhook it and push it back inside the washer to get it out of the way. Now from here we can take the screws that hold the rest of the front panel on. You have 2 on the bottom, and there's going to be 3 across the top here. And now that we got those out, we can go ahead and lift the front panel off of the washer. And we're just going to set that off to the side. Now there's another spring you can see right here that holds the boot to the outer tub. So we're just going to grab that and pull that off, and it's going to go flying. Just like that. And now we can pull that away from the outer tub here. And there you go, that's how you get the boot off. That's relatively easy compared to getting it back on. And here's some part numbers for you. I'll put a link in the description, so if you want to order one, you'll have the part numbers and stuff down below. Now there's a little bump out right there on the top of the gasket. That's going to go over that little plastic tab on top of the tub there. And I want to tell you right now, I cut out about 10 minutes of video. So what you see, there's about another additional 10 minutes of me trying to get this on there. So you're just going to have to work with it to try to get it on. It's going to be tough. And yes, my hands got real tired trying to roll it back and then push it over the little lip. And whenever you actually get to doing this, you're going to see what you have to do to get that on there. So you just want to keep working around till you get it over top of the little edge on the plastic tub there. Making sure it's lined up when you first start is real important, because you don't want to have to take it off and move it over 2 inches. And you want it to be flat inside the machine and not wrinkled. So you definitely want to make sure you have it aligned. And you see how I kind of roll it back a little bit and then push it over the plastic. And we'll just keep fighting with it. Then eventually you'll get it on. And now that we got it all in, I'm just going to push that in the tub to get it out of the way. Just making sure it's on the whole way around. Now for the fun part, and this spring is a royal pain. So we're going to start at the top, and because that little lip sticks out on the plastic tub, I'm going to go ahead and put a little clip on there, and that's going to keep the spring from pulling down off the top of the tub there. Then you just want to start working it around. Once you get past halfway, it gets a lot easier. But to get past halfway when you're getting this on there is a trick. I tried using a flathead screwdriver to hold it in place and it didn't work. So I'm going to ditch that idea and we're just going to try to use our hands to get it around. And I know my shoulder's in the way. It was a bad angle. But I'm just kind of holding it in place with my thumb and using my other hand to kind of work it in the groove. Just like that. One hand to hold it in place and one hand to stretch the spring out and get it in that little groove or slot that's around the outside of the tub there. And at this point, if you don't have the gasket on right, it'll just pull right off the tub. So if you have the gasket on right, it's not going to pull off the tub at this point. Now carefully with a flathead screwdriver, kind of using it to get some leverage on the last little bit here. And we're almost done. And there we go. Man, the rest of this is pretty routine until we get to the outside of the gasket. So I'm only going to put it back together on the video as far as that. So go ahead and set the front panel on. Then put the screws back in it. Put the 3 across the top. And we'll put the 2 back down on the bottom. And now I can put the door lock back in that I didn't have to take off. One important thing you want to do when you're taking all the screws and stuff out like this is make sure you, when you take them apart, lay them out in a line so as you go back through putting the machine back together, the screws are in order. And now we're just going to hook up this water hose. And make sure you put a zip tie on it so it doesn't vibrate loose or fall out or leak or anything like that in the future. And we'll cut the little tail off. Now this part's going to seem real easy after putting the first part of the boot on the outside of the tub there. So just kind of roll the gasket back a little bit and get it over the lip. Same as what you did before, just much easier. And you just go all the way around the tub till you get it on. And as long as you have everything lined up when you put it back together, you won't have any wrinkles in the gasket. It'll pretty much lay flat like it is right here. And we got the wire, so you make sure the spring part of the wire's at the very bottom. And hook it at the top and work your way around to one side of the spring. And then kind of hold that in place. I usually stretch the spring out and work it around. That was pretty easy. I actually got that one on the first try. Alright guys, that was my video on how to replace the bellow on your Frigidaire front load washer. Now I didn't show how to put the whole thing back together, but I showed the hardest part. Now this will take some patience for you to do. So don't get discouraged if it takes you 2 or 3 extra sets of hands just to get it back on. Those springs are kind of tough. So I showed you how to remove the whole panel and do it because I wouldn't wish on my worst enemy to try to do it without removing the front panel, which you can do, but it's very difficult. So this made it a little bit easier for you by showing you just by taking the whole front panel off. So if you're not subscribed to my YouTube channel, make sure you do that now. If you liked the video, go ahead and give it a thumbs up, and thanks for watching.